Disbelief as Bitcoin breaks out big time, as we predicted, while literally wearing kimonos. Moon Boys have had their first tip touch of the $30,000 level in 2 months. But will Bitcoin slow down here for a late night snack? Or is it about to put on some numbing cream and go for round 2? Right now, the price of Bitcoin continues its bustulation, with today's candle already being comparable in size to yesterday's massive breakout candle. As we talked about just a few days ago, as soon as Bitcoin broke 27,000, we said that Bitcoin was about to begin the breakout. And here we are $3,000 later as Bitcoin is getting its first tip touch around the $30,000 level. I want to talk about if I think it's likely that we're going to actually make a quick move above this, and what the trajectory of Bitcoin's price is going to be. As you know, as I said, I was longing this move. Currently, I'm up almost $20,000 in profit on this pump. So absolutely very big. So let's start off with some news. WisdomTree, the 10th largest ETF issuer, also just filed a Bitcoin spot ETF. The 4th Bitcoin spot ETF application in just the last 5 days. Genevieve on Twitter here asking, did the SEC send a smoke signal to let all these institutions in or something? And Bitcoin has been on an absolute rampage. And this is something that, we expected. We've been literally talking about this for weeks and weeks on the channel. But Mustache on Twitter talking about this is that we actually did get this golden cross of the 20 going above the 200 for the very first time ever. Because when it dipped below right here, late last year, it was the very first time we actually dumped and made a death cross there. Now, this is our very first golden cross of these two moving averages, which has never happened before. Also highlighted by Will on Twitter that Bitcoin's price has been trading at a premium on Coinbase relative to other exchanges since the BlackRock filing. He's saying that it's likely US-based and hedge funds front-running expected institutional inflows. And so, again, another chart we've been watching for a long time is this very key moving average, where we got rejected here ultimately back in 2022, which led to the biggest dump of the entire bear market, right? We topped out at about 69,000. Nice. And then we trended down for a couple months. We traded sideways, tried to break back up. We got rejected at this moving average, and after we got rejected here was the single biggest dump of the entire bear market. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Basically 12 straight massive dumps, like months and months of straight dumping. And then a lot of sideways, and then the FTX dump, a lot of sideways, and then we've been pumping ever since. But now we have been, as I've been talking about on this channel, we've been holding this moving average for the past about 3 months. And it looks as though at this point, you can consider this basically Bitcoin holding that moving average, which to me is like the biggest indication that long term, over the next few months, this can get very good for Bitcoin price, very pumpy for Bitcoin price. Also, Mustache on Twitter highlighting the Wyckoff method. The journey towards $36,000 to $40,000 continues or has begun. He does state here that he's been sharing this for the past 7 months, since November and December of 2022. And it looks as though, again, he said everything going according to plan. And this is our very first higher high as well. We've been setting lower highs for quite a long time, basically the past 3 months. And that is also illustrated, in this chart. We've just been descending. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower low. And that's one of the reasons I got so bullish here, and why I predicted the breakout and thought, it's very obvious this was coming here. Wolf of Wall Street is also pointing out that the Bitcoin move is spot driven, with very minimal liquidations and shorts still piling in. Also saying that spot volume today is as much as yesterday already, and there's still hours left on the daily. Basically saying a lot of this is just spot driven. There's some discussion in the comments saying that, someone else saying he believes it's derivative, and then All Street's, the original author, denying that and telling him why that's not the case. However, again, Citadel, BlackRock, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, massive money in traditional finance that has been fueling the narrative here and this move. And I'm sure what's happened over the past few days has absolutely piqued their interest even more. But a comment I did receive too, in 2021, we had about 0.5%, ammunition for potential cuts that we could have, used, and that spurred the massive rally because of the crash back in March of 2020 and the whole deflationary environment back then, and the money printing. Well, now we're at, much higher levels of federal interest rates. And, this can all be used for fuel. If we're truly done hiking, or we're pausing, skipping, whatever, we're just going to go sideways for a few months, whatever, and then ultimately start cutting maybe in the beginning of 2024, that is more fuel. And that's perfectly timed with the Bitcoin halving as well. And that leads into this. There are still people out there that are telling people to get completely out of Bitcoin, right? People with platforms that will even admit that they sold their entire bag, right? And they're saying, just get out. It's going to go much lower. Here's the thing. Maybe it does. But you're telling your audience that you should be completely out of these markets, only look for shorting opportunities, sell your bag, we're going much lower, as if it's 100% confirmed. Meanwhile, less than a year until the halving, the Fed has obviously begun slowing down on the rate hikes, and we're seeing institutional interest in Bitcoin in a larger capacity than we've ever seen by like miles, right? Never seen anything close to this. And then there are people literally getting on and saying, no, it's all just, it's a trap. It's not what you think. Completely stay out of the markets. I mean, let's be honest, though. Could that happen? Sure. Could the market dump? Absolutely. But it could just as easily, if not, there's much more evidence suggesting that it won't. And you're going to go on in there and tell your audience to like get out just because you sold. You want your audience to also like feel a lot of pain as well. Not only is that reckless, I feel like that's incredibly like vindictive. It's manipulative, right? And you see these people come on every day, whether it's on Twitter or YouTube, and no matter what happens, they'll put a bearish spin on it for months and months and months at a time. People do that for bullish, right? If you're bullish, people put bullish spins on everything, and people will do bearish spins on anything. But all I'm saying is, asking your audience to get completely out of the market, and then no matter what happens, trying to spin the narrative to make it bad just to suit you and to try to make yourself not look silly for months and months at a time while all the evidence is saying the opposite. I don't know. To me, that's incredibly reckless. And one of the best, I love this tweet I also saw by Van Spencer here. He says every bear market he re-underwrites why he's in crypto. So there's 5 points here. 1, large untapped market of money, culture, games, which again, I personally do believe that video games will be a very big piece of crypto in the future. Not right now, not yet. It's not there yet at all, but I think it's very obvious, the intersection there. You don't have to be a genius to understand how crypto and video games kind of go hand in hand. Number 2, lack of competition. Very few traditional institutions and people in crypto. It's very early. 3 is large liquid outcomes, already at 1 trillion aggregate market cap, likely goes to 10 to 20 trillion. If Bitcoin, if the entire crypto market cap goes to 10 trillion, we have a lot of pumping to do. I think it's very likely. And what that means is if it does happen, we have a lot of pumping to do, right? We have a long way to go. Number 4, makes the world more interesting. Well, that's kind of, his opinion there. I personally agree with that too, but that's not like a strong point for, somebody that's not really interested in crypto. And number 5, the compounding effect. Knowledge assets compound dramatically faster in crypto and other industries. There's so many things about this space that captivate me, and the reason that I've stayed in the markets for years now, right? Multiple cycles. And I'm not going anywhere whatsoever. I absolutely believe in crypto. That's why I keep over 95% of my entire net worth in crypto, is because 1, I believe in it. 2, I just feel like I know where it's going. It doesn't matter how often somebody will tell you where they think it's going, meaning just dumping to zero. It never does. Every 2 years bears are right, and then every 2 years bulls are right. But long term, there's only one camp that's right, and that's the bulls. Long term, if you've been a bear on Bitcoin from the beginning, you have been wrong. Every 2 years, you'll look good because it dumps a little bit, right, for a year or two, and it's a bear market. But ultimately then, you look dumb because it goes on to new all-time highs, it gets more adoption, and now we're literally seeing the biggest adoption of all time. Traditional finance is trying to get in and really kickstart even the beginning of this new bull market, which won't even start for months, right? The next bull market isn't even close. But already these institutions are kind of like begging to get in. So, then to answer my question that I talked about at the beginning of, do I think 30K will bust? I think it will, but I'm not convinced that it'll happen immediately. Even if we break 30K, which we already have temporarily today, we need to get a few daily closes, I think, above 30K. But ultimately, again, we talked about this massive inverse head and shoulders that I think will will play out over the next few weeks, but that's a long-term game. So if it dumps tomorrow, that doesn't, right? People will obviously be in the comments saying, oh, well, it dumped. Yeah, what, after it pumped 100%? It's not that big of a deal. But again, this level is massive, this 30K. So if we break that, if we concretely break 30K, we go up to like 32 or 33, that's the highest Bitcoin will have been in the last year. So that's very big. It's huge. We see this massive, I mean, this indicator was right again, the MMI, massive move indicator. Here we go, massive move coming off of this line touch. Every time we touch on this line, a massive move comes out of it. Within just a few short days, we see that happen again. That indicator was right. And again, I mean, this truly just highlights how big 30K is, though. So I'm not convinced we're going to snap through 30K like that and stay above it permanently. I think the chances are very good that this is the true breakout that'll get us above 30K, but give it a few days. Be patient, right? This is something where, like I said a couple of days ago, right before we broke out, we're about to break out. What I'm telling you right now is that breaking 30K, could we do it in 5 seconds? Could it be above 30K right now? Absolutely. But give it a few daily closes to really get above 30K, cement itself. Because ultimately, if we do get above 30K, let's say we go up to 33, 34, there is going to be a pullback and a back test of 30K at some point. Probably sooner than later, if we make that move. And people are going to get bearish when they shouldn't be. And then ultimately, we could make another move up or something like that. But again, that's more something, I think a couple days down the road to watch for. Although, to be honest, the momentum is pretty strong right now. It could be even sooner than that. But again, this is another massive indicator that we use, and we held this indicator as well. The only time in the past that this has not signaled the beginning of a new bull market, well, actually, it did still signal it. We just dipped below it for a few short weeks, and that was because of the crash back in March of 2020, which you all know what that was. But then it ultimately then did go into a new bull market. So every time we've crossed back below this and then back above this, that has begun basically the very, very beginning of a new bull market. Where, keep in mind, the very beginning of a new bull market, people get confused because it's not only the beginning of a bull market, it's the end of a bear market. So technically it's in that gray area where it's still a bull market and it's it's still a bear market and it's kind of a bull market. It's where the market is shifting. So technically the end of a bear market is the very, very, very beginning of a bull market, and that's where I believe we are. And take advantage of massive trading and deposit bonuses below with Femex and BitGet. When you sign up with my link, you can get free XPT by trading using my Femex link below. Currently, I'm up about 20,000 USD in profit trading this move. And like I said, if we have this breakout continue the way that I think it will over the next month or so, then I think these profits will be small compared to what I think is possible. Without any further ado, it's free.